Welcome back to another episode of Dean and Chained. I'm your host, E, aka Venom, aka Mr. Tell It Like It Is. As per usual on the show, we discuss the battles of mating from a male perspective. And today's topic of discussion is: do modern women suffer from high self-esteem? Uh, and and I'll put this topic I put this topic on my Insta the other day, and I got a lot of backlash from it, to be honest with you. um you know, I had female acquaintances and family members and friends and whatever it is, relatives. They were coming at me, you know what I mean, on the gram, like, oh, what are you saying about women? And everyone got triggered. And I was like, look, first off, that's just a title, okay? First off, that's just a title. That's just a generic question. And if you're reading too much into it, that's your fault. Because I did say I was going to dissect that particular question today as to why, me personally, um, based on research and behavior pattern and tendencies of modern women, I think, yeah, they do suffer from high self esteem. And I'm going to go into details in that. But before I do that, I want to uh, just show my new read. I highly recommend this book for people that are out there that are looking for marriage and they're looking for a serious relationship. I would highly recommend this before you tie the knot. So you you go through this, you read it if it's on a religious purpose, if you so you need to know why you want to get married, essentially. So go through this book, give it to your partner so she can read it as well, and so you can both understand and be level-headed as to why you are engaging, what yeah, why you're embarking on that journey, essentially. Right. So without further ado, let's get into this, right? Okay. So why do oh my god, I forgot to start my timer on my this thing. How's that called? The snapping thing. Okay, so I'm going to post the video. I think the audio will keep going for some time. I'm going to post the video and then restart it. I think this audio is gonna have to keep playing. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's good. So we're back now. The timer is set. Let's get into this. Okay. So first things first, I want to highlight that the whole idea behind this podcast is um, not to incite men in saying that, oh, do you know what I mean? Hate on the modern woman, don't wife them, don't do this, don't do that. We're just saying, we're just giving out tips for men to know how to pick from the crowd of modern women that expect traditional men, but they want to act recklessly the way they act, and they expect the man to be forbearing with their childish and foolish behavior, right? So that's plainly what we do here. We just try to orient it, because I myself personally, I'm a I would have to say I'm an advocate for marriage, family values, all of that, because I believe that's how you, one, leave a legacy, two, protect your lineage, protect your wealth, and that's essentially the purpose of life, which is, yes, you live, you die, and you need to leave something behind and benefit society at large with your kids, with how you brought them up, and everything else, and making sure that their impact on 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 society as a whole. Right. So before I go into the topic, one thing as well I wanted to highlight, because um, people seem to think that on the panel or on the podcast, on the show, we we say men are superior than women, or men are this, men are that, and that's often the assumption when it comes to a woman that's poisoned, that has her mindset poisoned by the feminist agenda. Is that, no, we're not saying men being different to women means men are better than women. No, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying, yes, men do have some qualities that women lack, and women do have some qualities that men lack as well. And they both complement each other as God intended. And if a woman wants to advocate and think, oh, yeah, we don't need men, la di la di da, take it up with your creator, okay? Because as far as I know, as far as far as I know, God intended for man and man and woman to complement each other for one, because everything was created in pairs. As everyone knows, the story of the ark, where Noah took a pair of each creation on the ark, and then when stuff happened after the storm or tsunami, everyone disembarked from the ark and the planet was repopulated, right? So that's that. Okay, that's a bit of religious religious studies there for you guys. But do you know what I mean? Some women might not be God fearing nowadays. Some some might be, and some might listen and take heed and follow the advice. But again, yes, women, you do need men. And one also very crucial reason why you do need men is because um, when you have kids, okay, when you have kids, if you don't, and I'll repeat this, if you think you're going to raise your child by yourself and do it by yourself, you are being oppressive to that child. You are oppressing that child from birth. And some women are terrible, terrible, toxic mothers. And I have to say this. Some women are terrible toxic mothers, and they will poison the mind of the child about their fathers. Your father is trash, your father is this, and you see some people, it's ridiculous, right? You see some people, they're 36, they've never spoken to their father, they have daddy issues because of their toxic moms. You see some men that are husbands to their mothers because they never had a father in the house. They don't have a life. They're just busy focusing on their mom. And even when they have a girl, they want to treat that girl as their mother, right? They want that girl to treat them like their mothers would. Okay, and this is very messed up. And then you have the sister mothers or the daughter mothers relationship, where the the mother poisons the daughter to think that um to hate all men, for example, right? She poisons the daughter to hate all men. All men are terrible, they're this, they're that, they're liars, due to her broken experiences, and she wants to live through her daughter, right? She wants to live through her daughter, and then she poisons her daughter, and her daughter is unable to maintain a relationship, right? So those are some of the things. And women, about the children, okay? Again, about the children, do not be oppressive to your unborn or newborn baby. The basic requirement for that child, as I touched on last week's episode, the basic requirement for that child is that he grows up with two parents for better cognitive development and better socio-economic outcome, because we know one income I'm sorry, we know two income is better than one. All right, we know two income is better than one, and that child needs an education. Okay, that child needs an education. He needs to have a family support system from both sides of his family. He needs to be acquainted with it, because you have certain situations where people completely alienate their children. Well, I wouldn't say people, where women completely alienate their children and they poison their mind that your father was rubbish. And then you have certain the kids that come out of this type of single mother household. Sometimes they tend to go out there and mate maybe with their brothers, and they don't know that, oh snap, that's my brother I'm in a relationship with, or that's my sister I'm in a relationship with, due to the fact that the mother alienated the child from their family, right? So women, please, I know men have civilized the world to an extent where you can sit back and have this sort of conversations where you think, oh no, I don't need a man. I don't, a man don't doesn't deserve me. Anything a man can do, I can do. These narratives and this sort of assumptions are completely false. This is something you're being lied to. Okay. And I could go into some of the reasons why, because you're the biggest consumers out there in the marketplace. Your purchase power is absolutely bonkers, right? Your purchase power is absolutely bonkers, and the more single you are, the more impulsive you are with your purchases, and there is an incentive to keeping you single from this from the big conglomerates, from the government, the companies. There is an incentive to keeping you single, right? And again, you might think, I don't need a man and all of that jazz. Yeah, I don't need a man, I don't need this, I don't need that. That might be cool, but the government on which you're relying is a government that's built by men. The income tax, sorry, what am I saying? The income tax, the universal credit, the child tax benefits, all of these are modern conventions that were put in place to support women. Okay, and this were put in place by men. Men civilized the world enough where you think, this, you can casually go around saying these things, but no, you can't, right? And you have certain women that would say, just going back on the religious point, they would say, oh, do you know what? I'm an atheist, because you find a lot of this on people's dating profiles: agnostic, atheist, da 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 da, don't believe in God. I want to highlight something very important that you don't get. Okay, religion actually benefits women a lot. It actually benefits women a lot. Primary reason why this benefits women a lot is because men are capable of far more carnage and savagery than you see today. The religion has helped to tame men. Religion has helped to tame men so there can be like some form of orderly conduct among men. Because if there was none of that, religion, there would probably not be a civilization. Men would just go in about being conquerors. Men would just go about being conquerors, and it will be the survival of the fittest. Where, I mean, people have seen history. Again, I'll mention Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great, or the Vikings of Norway, etc. They would just roll up on boats and they would terrorize the whole town. And once they mash up the whole town, they would usually take women as war, how do you call that? War trophies or war bounty or booty, right? Women would generally be trophies. So the warring tribes will slide in and they will massacre everyone except for the women, and the women will be war trophies. So for any woman that's out there saying religion is a social contract put by men in order to suppress women's sexuality, my oh God, I'm only laugh, right? You are completely wrong. Okay? You are completely wrong if that is your outlook on religion. Religion is actually suppressing men. Religion actually suppresses men. And that's how um those are some of the foundations that led to men being civilized, etc., etc. And we know as well that most of the inventors are men. The critical thinkers are men. So yes, in today's day and age, the world is modernized. It's been made easy for women, and etc., etc. But yet we still hear complaints. But do not trash and tarnish a man's image. Do not belittle a man's image, because the society in which you live in, although you despise or insult patriarchy without the slightest level of understanding, this actually the system is actually in place to benefit you. Because we'll take the case of Sarah Everhart, right? With where the police system failed her, and the all the atrocities that happened with the policeman who raped her and murdered her. R.I.P. to her, right? This is a tragedy, right? This was a tragedy, okay? This was a tragedy. But that is a vivid example of what can happen. That is a vivid example of what can happen without the protection of other men. And this is the police system. So for a woman to sit back in her cozy or lufty, cozy and comfy chair and say, "Oh yeah, I don't need a man," and all of that jazz. Whatever a man can do, I can do. If you're on benefit, first of all, you're getting money from men that are working. Okay, you're getting money from men and women that are working. So you should be getting off your lazy ass and actually go and do something for yourself. That's one particular reason. But anyway, I don't want to digress too much and go off topic because I kind of went off track there. So let's roll back into this, right? Which is why modern women are suffer from high self-esteem. So in this day and age, you have like women that they're some of them are about to hit the wall, but they still act like they're younger. And we talked about this last week as well, where we said, no, men, date younger women, don't date older women. Wife younger women, don't wife older women because they're a piece of work. Um, this is due to the fact that older women in their heads still think they're 21 or 19, etc., etc., where they expect the man to do all the efforts, do all the moves, and all she does is like sit cozily and wait for the man to please her, come and lavish her in gifts, etc., etc., right? And we and this comes across because women haven't most women that work out there, they haven't dealt with previous breakups. They haven't dealt with the ghost of the past. They haven't dealt with their first. They haven't dealt with their breakup with their first lover or some sort, right? And which is why we're saying that promiscuity in women is very dangerous. Promiscuity in women is very dangerous when a woman is overly promiscuous, and you will find them at this particular age when they're 28 or 28, 30. They still want to be courted as if they were 21, where they have a man do everything. It's like you. So, I don't want to snap, right? It's like, wait, sorry, B, you've already done everything under the surface of the sun, and you have a man that knows that you're about to hit the wall, and he's coming in to to say, okay, she's a woman roughly around the same age as me. I expect her to have a slight level of wisdom now that she's done now that she's past her, I would say, prime years, okay. And as Kevin Samuel calls it, now that she's in the danger zone, at least she'll be more conscious and more aware of the situation that she's in. So she'll be grateful in terms of receiving a man and knowing what he wants and what she wants and knowing how to cater to him. But most women today don't have that. The modern woman today doesn't have that. She still thinks she's the she's the prime, she's out there, she's the top notch, she's the bad gal, she's the hot gal on the block, when it's like, no, sorry, but there's a newer model. There's a newer model, and this newer model, on top of that, she doesn't have the baggage that you have, and you come with hella baggage, and you are still pretentious. You're still acting prestige. You're still acting prestigious, right? It's like, bro, do not, and that's why I highlight to my guys, do not engage a woman that's on that cloud. Do not engage a woman that's on that cloud, because she's still dealing with ghosts of the past. She's still dealing with ghosts of the past. If it's a previous marriage that she broke up from, if it's a previous relationship that she broke up from, and I'll tell you what type of women to avoid. Avoid a girl that has been living with her partner, for example, who broke up from an ex and they've been living 3 years together without any form of um like making their cohabitation legitimate. Do you know what I mean? Making legalizing their togetherness, right? You, because there in her head, she's still in a child's mind. And when that breaks off, when that situation that she has with her partner, maybe it's her first lover, maybe it's whatever it is, she still will suffer from the scars of it. And most women don't even address this topic, but they will happily want to go on a carousel and date, go on a serial dating. Okay, ladies and gents, as we now record return to regular schedule programming. I don't know what I had with my camera. Is that moving mad? I think the battery died and stuff like that, so man had to swap that real quick. The perks of you know the perks of working individually, right? Anyways, technology at its finest. So where were we? We were talking about yeah, we're talking about women keeping needing to keep their legs closed. Do you know what I mean? Keep your legs closed until you address past trauma, and then you try and move on into next relationships, right? Now, secondly, why are these women more delusional and suffer from high self-esteem? So for them, they see it perfectly normal to keep around male orbiters that they want to have all these men around them that they can use for different things and still be able to hold a normal relationship. And it's like, wait a minute. So you want a man who is going to take you seriously, quote unquote seriously. And you see this a lot of the times today, and it's mad. So you want a man to take you seriously, for one, but you still want to have all these male orbiters around you, all these guys that you've dropped in your friend zone and everything else, and you want him to be okay with you interacting with them. And if he's not okay with you interacting, he puts sorts of boundaries around that. You then vilify him or call him out as being insecure. Like, honestly, like, are you tapped? Are you tapped? And for the men, for the beta males out there that allow this sort of foolish behaviors from women, from the beta males that allow this sort of foolish behavior from women, you are encouraging foolishness. And to them, they think that it's normal. Tapped. What you find with modern women today, because they're all tapped, in my opinion, right? Until the ones that actually go and get some therapy or help. What you find is that these modern women, although they're engaged, they have accepted an engagement from a man, they will still communicate with these male orbiters because their their need for constant validation and attention from men is insatiable. They constantly need this validation and attention seeking thrill that they get from men. And sometimes they do what I call dangling possibilities of sex, which is Um, Sometimes it's not malicious, but most times it's manipulative, right? They will dangle the possibility of sex to a man in order to continue getting this attention and validation from him. And that's absurd. It's like, sorry, look, if you're already taken and you're off the market, have respect, one, for um the man that is about to commit to you fully and has already taken the steps to do so. Have some respect for him, for one, uh, uh, um, privately and publicly. Okay, have some respect for him, and two, have some damn respect for the time of the man who is quote unquote um, trying to make advances, trying to court you, despite the fact that you're engaged. So clearly, clearly tell him. Do you know what I mean? Clearly tell him. Curve him like a serve from Serena Williams. You need to curve him and tell him, look, look, look. No, I'm taken. I can't be entertaining this idea. But what you find most often is that these women will entertain this idea, and some will even go to the extent of um having sex with the guy whilst they're engaged. And I can't even big man. Because if I come up with the receipts, yeah, if I come up with the receipts and the stories, because you lot are gonna think, oh my days, this is the lie, this is cap. Bro, engaged women, engage. A guy has done the most. Personally, I'm not the guy to give out rings and all that jazz, but I'll go into that in later episodes. But man them have done the ultimate simping act, and that's what I call it. Got down on one knee, gave her a ring, all of that. But this girl is out there getting her back blown out by different guys. I know in certain cultures, maybe like the British culture, people have it where they call it, oh, it's my hen night and all this different jazz. But bro, this is tapped behavior. Man's about to commit to you and you're out there doing the most. How is someone already he's already done the maximum in terms of to show commitment. He's done the utmost best to show commitment. He said, look, I want you to be mine. Here's a ring, here's this, here's that, and there's the crib and everything else. And you're still out here acting like um trying to ride the carousel. Do you know what I mean? Trying to act like a Barclays bike. So that's why that's why I say no, this modern women suffer from high self-esteem. And they always think there is the grass is greener on the other side. They can get something better. It's like, no, sorry, ma. You're like, boo, you're 28. You're 28, boo boo. You're 30. You're 35. Your clock is ticking. And if you're not happy with that, you take it up with the God, and like you're about to hit the wall. And God has put that in place for a reason. But you're still out here trying to act as if um you have all the cards on your side, and the man that's pursuing you has zero cards and nothing to lose. The men actually have more to lose. And this is why I'm very pro men dating younger women, because these older women, they're not any wiser, they're not any smarter. All they have is flipping trauma. That's all they have. They have trauma from past. I call them relationship ghost. She has like all these relationship ghosts chasing her, all these ghosts surrounding her, the ghost of her past exes. and you want to be the guy that comes there to be Captain Save a Hole and put a ring on her. There's certain men that they will wife it. They'll wife it. She
Wow. Celebration time, lads. You just won biggest dickhead of the century. Clap for yourself.
It's so messed up to see that these women have zero awareness and zero understanding of the situation they're in, to the point that you have um a man that recently became a woman, like Dave Chappelle was mentioning the other day. What's her name? Is it Caitlyn Jenner? She won she won best woman of the year or something. Like, do you know what I mean? She she won she's only been woman for like 6 months, and she won best woman of the year because this women are out here, they're not learning anything. They're getting older, chronically single, and they still think they're the shit. Pardon my French, but that's the reality of it. You suffer from high self-esteem, bro. You don't understand that, no, there is a sexual marketplace value. There is and they hate this. They hate this when men express their preferences in women. Oh boy, they will call you all sorts of names. There's all sorts of name out there. They'll vilify you. This is grooming. This is this. This is that. This is borderline pedophilia. This is like ridiculous names because a man has expressed his preference, and a man is not supposed to have preferences. And no, I'm a I'm a queen. Take me as I am. Sorry, what? You need to work on yourself. You need to address all this past engagement that you let go. Because a woman does not accept engagement unless she wants to get married, and plenty of women mess it up. And I have like a catalog list of it where they've been engaged. Some of them, luckily now, maybe their husband didn't find out, and they still got married. But some, throughout the engagement period, they were getting D down, bro. Some, throughout the engagement, they were getting D down. Next man is blowing her back out, and she got the ring on her finger, and then she's gonna walk down the aisle. Uh, and she's walking down the aisle the next day and the night before she was out there doing the most. The grass is not greener on the other side. That's for one. The grass is not greener on the other side, for one. For two, address your trauma. No, and do not go around spreading your legs, because like if you go around spreading your legs, you are bound, okay? You are bound to suffer the consequences of it. And if your ultimate goal, because you find this woman, they're like, oh, do you know what? Right now I'm only focusing on my career. And it's like, okay, you're focusing on your career, but how do you handle your sexual urges? Right? And then you come to find out, no, she plays the field. She's focusing on her career, but she plays the field. And she dedicates so much time on her career, and she's unable to dedicate that same level of attention and put that same level of effort into securing and retaining a man, a partner. She's like, no, I'm special, I'm a princess. And she's 35. That's what I was telling Mandem. No, no, no. Don't don't entertain these 35s. Don't entertain these 35s. Like personally, I'm not the one to say go out there, sleep around. No, I'm not saying that. But if I was saying that, if I was saying that, I would say, look, the 35s and or actually the 30s and above, they're just for recreation. They're just for recreational purposes. Okay? They're just for recreational purposes. That's what I would say. But I'm not about that life. You know, I'm trying to be I'm not, I'm not trying to say I'm a saint, but I'm trying to be I'm trying to be a person with good morals and strong etiquettes and stuff like that. Where I say, no, no, just find you your piece, your sweet one, and wife her up, etc., etc. So, and then leave those old bags to their old bag tricks and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Let them go from man to man and end up chronically single as they are. But that's the reality of it. They will put effort towards career. They will put efforts towards becoming whatever they want to become in life, but they won't put effort towards retaining a man. They would want the man to call them. They would want the man to do everything, everything, and they just sit there looking pretty. And it's like, well, sorry, bro, your time is up. Your time is up, and you should be thanking any man that comes entertaining you. You should be thanking any man that comes entertaining you. But anyways, I'm not going to stretch this for long. Like I've said, um, for anyone that's serious out there, just make sure you copy of this book. Um, I'm not being paid for this, but I just find it to be an interesting read. There's another book which I'll make you guys discover next week. Yeah, when we'll talk about the next episode and stuff like that. So read this book, get your partner to read this book so she understands and you're both on the same page as to why you want to get married. So you know why she wants it and she knows what you want, why you want it. And then you can both straighten out your thinking about it. And bro, today women are more promiscuous than men. Okay, for them now it's like a casual, it's like a casual thing. Yeah, next man, spread my legs, spread my legs, spread my legs. She don't even care about that. And I say to man, yeah, me personally, I'm looking to wife a thing, and I know all of my guys that are looking to take someone serious. They look at her body count, they look at her history, they look at her past. I know certain places are like, no, no, don't look at her past. No, 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 no. You need to check her past. You need to make sure she's not carrying she's not walking around with a infected box. Do you know what I mean? You keep yourself clean. You make sure she's clean as well before she rolls into your life. You make sure she has um she has a good womb, because plenty of them, they don't realize, like we talked about, we we talked about, there's a clock. The god placed a clock on them, and like I've said, if you have a problem, take it up to him. If you have a problem, take it up with him. There's a clock. Plenty of, they're out there just doing the most, doing this, doing that. They don't know. No, once you hit a certain age, you cannot. Your chances of having a kid, which is the primary, which is the primary predicator of happiness in women, your chances of having a child diminishes. It reduces drastically. And any man that gets with you, he needs to know that. Some of them, they'll do the BBLs, the tummy tuck, etc., etc., and the bellies with it. Fam, you need to suss all this information out. And sometimes even when the men are trying to, when they have this situation that they're going through, and then the man is still like, "Do you know what, it's calm, I'll consider, I'll take it." They're still trying to act like they're prestige. It's like, whoa. it's, it's like, big man, like what? Yeah, hey, do you know, I'm not even, it's not even funny. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's not funny at all. I don't even know why I'm laughing. It's not funny at all. But it's the level of delusion sometimes. It just makes you go from upset to to hysterical. Do you know what I mean? You go from like from like upset, from being upset with the way they lead themselves to doom. To you're just like, oh, do you know what? This is just funny at this point. It's not even. There's no need for me to get mad about this. It's just funny. It's like, and if you tell them this, like I'm saying on this video, because I'm guarantee I'll probably get some backlash for saying this, right? If you tell them that oh, this is the situation, this is the situation, because they've been lied so much for as far as I know, since birth, they've been born with privilege, and they don't know when they're stripped of that privilege. You know, from the Disney movies and all of that they've been watching. Oh yeah, I expect to have I want to be Cinderella. It's like, nah, be you're 35. You can't be Cinderella. You're 30. You can't be Cinderella. You can't sleep because you can't mate. You can't bond anymore with any man because you have loads of baggage. And we talked about this. The female hormone, oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Yes, the more you spread your legs to different man them, the more you do this, the more you do that, the higher the chances your hormone, those hormone levels, they reduce. And when you have a kid, you're unable to cater for that kid with love and affection as a nurturing mother is supposed to. When you have a man, you're unable to display emotional availability because you're all used up. It's ran out. And sometimes some of them do it as a defense mechanism. They're like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to hurt my feelings. I'm trying to protect my what? You're trying to protect myself, trying to do this. Look, relationship is risk, and the man takes all the risk from the start and he gives it all up. So with you all says, guys, we've already been rejected. And I always tell my mandem as well that women hate rejection. Women can't handle rejection. If you want to see a woman go crazy, a woman go uh berserk or crazy on you, or if you want to, I'm gonna give this tip, bro. Yeah, and this is not for guys to take it and control women. Is that if you want to control a woman, right? If you want to control a woman, I might be evil for this, bro. One, there's two outcomes, two possible outcomes from this. One, turn her down for sex. Okay? Turn her down for sex and watch how crazy she gets. She will get crazy. She will call you names. She will even call you homosexual. Right? Just turn a pretty woman down for sex. And we all know, for my guys out there that are on the dean, we all know the story of Joseph, right? We all know the story of Joseph when he turned down the wife of a leading official in Egypt. What happened to him? See how crazy she went? Oh, he ripped off my clothes. He tried to rape me and everything else. And they put my man in jail for some time. So that is the extent of how women are incapable of dealing with rejection. So one, when you reject her, she goes super crazy. That's the side of it. She goes super crazy, right? They go mental. Now, second, okay, if she's about to do a sex act on you, you tell her this is okay. This is a bit on the controlling side. I'm gonna give it out. Okay, if you want to make her your sex pet or whatever it is, if she's about to do a sex act on you or whatever it is, you're like, oh no, it's fine. You don't need to do that. And watch how crazy. I learned this game from one of my boys. Hey, watch how crazy she will be when you ask for intercourse. Watch how quick she will be when you ask for intercourse and everything else. So that's the two possible outcomes from there. So, Mandem, you need to tame this. You need to control that. And the way in which I say to control it, control the narratives when you're dealing with women is deal with the younger ones, because the older ones aren't wiser. They don't know any better. The older ones aren't wiser, and they walk around with hella trauma and they still think their shit don't stink. That's just a personal take from me. But everyone's free to do as they want. Do you know what I mean? Um, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I was your host E. This was the Dean Unchained podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and guys, share the link. Let's get it up. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's get this podcast to blow up. Okay, cool. I was your host E. This was the Dean Unchained podcast. Peace.